Felipe Salvador Caicedo Corozo is an Ecuadorian professional footballer who plays for Spanish club RCD Espanyol as a striker. Caicedo is one of Ecuador's top 10 goal scorers with 19 goals. A full international since 2005, he has represented Ecuador at the Copa América in 2007 and 2011. Club career Basel Caicedo was signed by Swiss Super League side FC Basel from Rocafuerte in his native Ecuador during the Swiss 2005 Euro 06 season for an undisclosed fee while he was just 17 years old. Due to his youth, he was trained in the minor divisions. He went on to play 20 games for Basel in the following 2006 Euro 07 season, accompanied by 3 Swiss League goals. Clubs from La Liga, Premier League, and Serie A were monitoring his progress, with Milan said to have made an inquiry in the winter of 2007. Manchester City On January 31, 2008, it was announced that Manchester City had secured Caicedo's services on a 4.5-year deal through a £5.2 million transfer fee, which would make his sale one of the highest transfers in the history of the Swiss league. His transfer to Manchester City was completed after Caicedo was granted a work permit. Caicedo was described by his manager as one of the great South American talents, and was also compared to the Brazilian Adriano. He made his debut on February 10, 2008, in a 2-1 away win against rivals Manchester United, coming on in the second half. He ended the season with 10 appearances in the Premier League, all of them coming on as a substitute. Caicedo scored his first goal for City the following season in a UEFA Cup game against Racing de Santander. He scored his second consecutive goal with a back heel in a league game against West Bromwich Albion, but the goal was initially ruled as an own goal, as it hit the post and then the goalkeeper before finally going in. The goal was later given back to Caicedo after reconsideration from the dubious goals committee. After these solid performances, both coming off the bench, club manager Mark Hughes gave him the opportunity to start his first game in the league and he went on to score for the third game in a row, this time scoring the first 2 goals against Hull City on December 26, 2008, in a 5-1 victory, taking his goal tally up to 4. He started against Blackburn Rovers on December 28, 2008. Caicedo opened the scoring in the first leg of the UEFA Cup last 16 tie with Aalborg BK at the City of Manchester Stadium. Manchester City won the game 2-0. Caicedo scored his 6th goal of the season for Manchester City against Hamburger SV on April 16, 2009, but City were eliminated from the Cup for a Euro 3 on aggregate. Caicedo impressed many Manchester City fans that season with his strong performances as a single striker with the ability to hold up the ball in key areas and shrug off defenders. Caicedo's 7th City goal came in City's 3-1 home win over Blackburn Rovers on May 2. Caicedo scored his 8th goal for Manchester City in the 1-0 win over Bolton Wanderers on the last day of the season at the City of Manchester Stadium. Sporting Camp. At the start of the 2009 Euro 10 season, Caicedo was tipped to leave City in order to get more playing time, especially after the club signed fellow forwards Roque Santa Cruz, Emmanuel Adebayor, and Carlos Tevez. So, on July 23, 2009, Sporting Clube de Portugal and Manchester City reached a 1-year loan deal with option of a permanent deal, that would allow him to be part of their squad for the 2009 Euro 10 UEFA Champions League, potentially allowing Caicedo a year to develop himself as a forward before returning to Manchester City. Caicedo made his debut for Sporting Camp shirt after coming on as a substitute for LDER Postiger injured on the 36th minutes in a 2-1 loss against Braga on August 22, 2009. After suffering a stretched ligament injury in a match against Braga which he was out of action for 3 weeks, Caicedo made his return for Sporting Camp when he provided assist for Simon Vukaeva to score a winning goal in a 1-1 draw against SC Olhanense on September 21, 2009. Caicedo, however, found it difficult at Sporting and his loan deal was cut short in January 2010. Malaga. After Sporting decided to end Caicedo's loan spell at the club, other clubs showed interest in the Manchester City striker, Mar-a-Lago CF and Hull City amongst them. On January 8, 2010, Caicedo decided to join Mar-a-Lago on loan, rejecting an offer from Hull City. He scored his first La Liga goal for Mar-a-Lago with a beautiful individual effort against Racing de Santander, helping Mar-a-Lago win 3-0 on February 14, 2010. On April 10, 2010, Caicedo scored his first goal in 2 months, which is his second goal into a 1 loss against Sevilla, and 4 days later on April 14, 2010, Caicedo scored again after 4 days of scoring his first goal, which is his third goal in a 2-2 draw against Osasuna. On the final match day of the domestic season, Mar-a-Lago required a point to stay above the relegation zone, where they faced Real Madrid at home at La Rosaleda. Caicedo started and provided a wonderful assist for Duda to open the scoring in the 9th minute. Real Madrid levelled after the breakthrough Rafael van der Vaart, but the early goal was enough for Mar-a-Lago to avoid relegation. Levante. Just 1 hour before the deadline of the Spanish summer transfer window, Caicedo completed a loan move to freshly promoted Levante UD for the 2010-11 season. This revitalised his career, where by December 2010, he had contributed 7 goals in 12 appearances. Included in these 7 goals was a brace scored against Racing de Santander on November 21, 2010. Along with the Christian Stiani strike, Levante went on to win 3-1, picking themselves out of the relegation zone after a miserable 4-match losing streak. Levante lost on December 18, 2010 to Athletic Bilbao by a score of 2-1. Caicedo scored the only goal for the hosts. This was the last game before the winter break and started an abysmal 5-game losing streak for Levante that left them at the bottom of the Liga table. Levante turned this around on January 29, 2011 when they welcomed Getafe CF. Caicedo added the second goal of a 2-0 win and lifted the relegation strugglers from the bottom of the zone. On May 11, Caicedo scored his 13th league goal of a successful campaign against FC Barcelona at the Estadi Ciutat de Valencia. Caicedo finished the ball in fine fashion, after capitalizing on defender Gerard Piqué's copyright error. The game ended in a 1-1 draw, which handed Barcelona their 3rd straight La Liga title. The crucial point for Levante put them 5 points above the relegation zone with 2 games remaining. Caicedo's 13 league goals helped to secure Levante's place in La Liga for a second season. The Daily Mail reported that Levante wanted to sign Caicedo permanently for £1 million, with him being the top scorer for Levante. On May 30, 2011, Levante officially took up an option to sign him, and on June 29, 2011, Levante signed Caicedo for £880,000. In his move, it was revealed that Levante would cash in by selling Caicedo for a large profit in the summer because the club were in debt, owing a $12 million a year in repayments. This led to Caicedo quoting, "At a $1 million, I am cheap, very cheap. Very, very, very cheap. He is a bargain, but only for Levante." Following his time in Spain, reports showed that he traveled to Moscow because of interest from Russian Premier League clubs Lokomotiv Moscow and Anzhi Makhachkala. Lokomotiv Moscow On July 25, 2011, Caicedo signed a 4-year contract with Lokomotiv Moscow for a fee of $7.5 million and was handed the number 25 jersey. Previously, Lokomotiv Moscow tried to sign Caicedo in the winter transfer window at Russia before it closed on March 10, 2011 after Lokomotiv Moscow failed to sign Stuttgart's striker Cyprian Marika. Following his move to Lokomotiv Moscow, the president of Russian club Olga Smorodskaya accused Levante of behaving unprofessionally in the sale and hit out at Levante for their lack of cooperation during negotiations, saying to RIA Novosti. 2011 Euro 12 season. On August 14, 2011, Caicedo made his debut in the Russian Premier League after coming on at the 61st minute for Dmitry Loskov as Lokomotiv Moscow drew 0-0 against Volga. On August 28, 2011, Caicedo scored his first goal, which proved to be the winning goal against Kibon Krasnodar. After scoring for Lokomotiv Moscow, Caicedo began scoring and providing assists on a weekly basis for 4 weeks, including 3 goals. The first of these goals came against FC Zenit St. Petersburg in a 4-2 win on September 10, 2011, another against Terik Grazi in a 4-0 win, and the third and final of the run against Anzi, a goal which again proved to be the winning goal. He had provided his 1 assist of the run a week before, Caicedo playing the ball to Alberto Zapata, who scored his first goal for Lokomotiv Moscow in the 1-1 draw against Rubin Kazin on September 25, 2011. In the first half Russian Premier League, Caicedo made 13 league appearances, scoring 6 goals. In the Europa League, Caicedo made his debut in the playoff round as Lokomotiv Moscow beat Spartak Trnava 3-1 on aggregate on August 25, 2011. On October 20, 2011, Caicedo scored his first Europa League goal in a 3-1 win over AEK Athens on a group stage. On February 16, 2012, in the round of 32 of the Europa League, Caicedo scored a winning goal on a 71st minute against Athletic Bilbao in a 2-1 win of the first leg of round of 32 of the Europa League. Caicedo also provided an assist for Denis Glashokov to score a penalty on a 61st minute after Caicedo was fouled in the penalty box. In the second leg of round of 32 of the Europa League, Caicedo played as Lokomotiv Moscow were eliminated from the Europa League after Athletic Bilbao beat Lokomotiv Moscow 1-0, winning on the away goals rule. In the January transfer window, reports from Brazil and Ecuador claim that Caicedo was joining Zaire copyright Ribe side Boa Esporte on loan. However, the move was rejected by Olga Smorodskaya, saying that she has no intention in loaning him to Boa and says the offer was nonsense. Al Jazeera In 2014, Felipe Caicedo joined Al Jazeera. Upon the arrival of Mirko Vucinic to Al Jazeera and Caicedo held talks about terminating his contract, making him a free agent. Espanyol On July 15, 2014, Caicedo signed for La Liga club Espanyol on a Bosman transfer after leaving UAE Arabian Gulf League club Al Jazeera. International career. On February 10, 2009, Caicedo scored the winning goal in a 3-2 victory against England's U21 team. On March 21, 2013, following the words of Augusto M. Castillo, the coach of El Salvador, that the current Ecuador team is the best Ecuador of the history, Caicedo scored twice against El Salvador. International goals List of goals and results with Ecuador national football team. Career statistics. Club as of December 15, 2015. National team as of December 7, 2015. References. External links: Felipe Caicedo career statistics at Soxabase, official website, ESPN profile.